Welcome to the Generation Elevation podcast, a conscious, connected platform for those who are ready to manifest their dream life. I'm your host, Elise Riley, a former PT, now motivational speaker, igniting empowerment and transformation all across the globe. Here at Generation Elevation, we are committed to bringing you the most inspiring guests who will share their stories, wisdom, and advice to help you progress closer to living a life of your own terms. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Generation Elevation. Today, I am here with a very special guest, and I'm super excited to share with you the story of how we have gotten here today. However, he's a quantum healer, and he had just finished his practitioner course in NLP and hypnosis. And I am really excited to introduce you today, Roy. Hey Roy, how are you?
Hey, I'm good. How are you, Elise?
I'm amazing. So for everyone listening, this catch up has kind of come about in a really strange and beautiful way. If you've been listening to my podcast for a while, you would know my beautiful friend Travis. And yesterday, Travis and we caught up for lunch. And prior to that, he had just come from a podcast interview of his own. And I asked Travis to pull some of my Divine Guidance Oracle cards. And as he pulled some of the cards, they were resonating with the chat that he just had with Roy on his podcast. So he calls Roy, and myself, I'm listening to this conversation and I'm just knowing in my heart that I'm going to meet this man. And this strong message come through that I'm going to meet Roy tomorrow. And so Trav calls Roy, yo, what are you doing tomorrow? And funnily enough, he's like, I have nothing on in the afternoon. So I said, yep, let's go. Let's make this happen. And here we are.
Yeah. Well, interesting enough, like when I was on the phone with Travis and he mentioned you, and I just thought, yeah, I've got to meet this lady. And then I think you said it in the background, or Travis might have said, he said, well, Elise said, yeah, she's got to meet you. And I went, yeah, I've already been told that too. So, yeah, we're both getting told the same thing. And then when our guides come in and tell us what to do, we've basically got to do it. We're in service, so when we're being told what to do, it's for a big purpose, whether we know what that might be or not, and you've just got to take that first step and arrange the meeting and go from there. Yeah. So I think I first heard your name less than 24 hours ago.
Yeah, same.
Knew you existed less than 24 hours ago, and I'm in the same room talking to you now, so that's epic. I love how quick the universe can make things happen.
100%. And I think before we even press record, we were speaking about how when you are in that alignment where you're just trusting the things that are coming to you in your experience and you're following those pieces of the puzzle, like everything just starts to unfold. And synchronicities flow one after the other, one after the other, one after the other. When you really flow with your life, synchronicities happen every day. I think they happen every day anyway, it's just that we don't notice them so much. Yeah.
But,
Yeah, and it's like your ability to be aware of these things within yourself and then to look outwardly and mirror that.
Yeah. It's seeing how the universe is working for you in the most abstract of ways, the things that you find at your feet, or the numbers that you see on the number plates in front of you, or the random quote unquote random people that you meet that will say one thing to you. It just means something in that exact moment. It's life is magic when you allow it to be.
Yes, 100%. So, Roy, for those listening and my listeners that really probably have no idea who you are, like, I mean, we only met 24 hours ago, so I'm curious to know as well, like, tell me a little bit more about what you do, because, like, even before we just started this conversation, I was like, what do you actually do?
It's actually one of the most challenging questions I face, because I've got so many different modalities and I play in them all in the right moment. So I've put it under an umbrella of quantum healer at the moment, because I do delve in the quantum, which involves working at the soul level to work, helping people understand their soul contract. And I even delve into the quantum side of the body, and when I'm doing energy healing, and then I'm also a medium and a psychic medium, so I do the readings and contact people's loved ones that have passed, or pets, or I've actually found the other day I was talking to a lady that got an unborn child, and I was talking to her unborn child in the womb.
Wow.
So that was pretty fun, because that was quite new, that kind of thing. But to me, it's all about energy, and I've just got a really beautiful gift that enables me to tune into energy, which then enables me to tune into absolutely anything in any way. And I've got absolute faith in myself to be able to do that in a moment. So, for example, the other night was a group dinner after the NLP course had finished. We all went to a restaurant, and a girl sat next to me, and I was saying, like, everything's energy, so I can read anything.
Yeah.
And I think she said, well, do you want to try it on me? So, I set myself up, and I was like, oh, I've put myself here, I might as well, trust in myself. And there was another girl sat across from her that got like a mint leaf in her drink. So I took the mint leaf and read the mint leaf.
Whoa.
And give her, and she, because I said, well, all I need to know from you is what the subject you want the reading on. And she says, relationships, like romantic relationships. Okay, so I'll give her a 5-minute reading with a mint leaf on her romantic relationships.
Wait, so you're reading this mint
leaf, yeah.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
That's wild. Oh my gosh, tell me more.
Yeah, so basically, and you've got to remember these mint leaves, they're tiny little things.
Yeah.
And so anybody that's been and got a cocktail of the mint leaves that you get, that's the size of it. And all I was drawn to was like the veins of the leaf were really strong, and it just showed me how many relationships you would have, all the big relationships. I then got the information at what age she would get married.
Wow.
So, but the interesting thing was, after the reading had finished, I was sat there and just enjoying the rest of my dinner, and then, one of my spirit guides sort of came through and went, ask. So the ladies whose glass I got the mint leaf from, they said, ask her how old she was when she got married. So I said, oh, hey, Ash, because her name's Ash. I says, how old was you when you got married? She went 30. And I'd predicted how old, from 28 to 30 with the girls' reading that I'd done.
Wow.
And so then I said to this girl, I said, just ask that lady how old she was when she got married, because that was the confirmation for her that she obviously needed to confirm the reading. Because I can, because predicting a year, you can just pluck any year out. It's not doesn't necessarily come across as guidance, because it's just an easy thing to pluck out of the air. So obviously somewhere she didn't quite believe it, and she needed that confirmation. Yeah. And of all, and bearing in mind there wasn't just 3 people at the table, there was about 10 people at the table, so I could have chosen anybody to read their glass from. And that's the synchronicity and the confirmation thing that I love when I do any kind of reading in that regards, that there's always a nail on the head, there's always a wow moment, there's always a moment that makes people's logic go. For me, the way I often tell people, I kind of cheat, because their higher self is talking to my higher self, is talking to me. They're telling me the answers, I've just got this beautiful ability to able to hear it.
That's so cool. And I guess for those listening, to clarify, like, when you speak about higher self, what do you mean by that?
So we have an energetic self that watches over us. It's like a guide that's actually us, that knows our timeline and what's going to happen throughout our life. Yeah. We need that reference point, because when we get strong intuition, more often than not, that's our higher self giving us the nudge, saying, follow that. Yeah, because I
guess with my clients, I definitely talk about higher self, and I that's what I believe in. And obviously, when listening to this podcast, you can trust your own discernment on what you believe and what feels right for you. And so when I'm teaching this kind of stuff, it's very similar to just becoming that best version of yourself, where you have that voice that's the call of the soul, like calling you forward. Even if it feels a bit scary, it's like it's helping you become the best version of yourself, versus the voice of fear, the voice that is like your lower self, saying that maybe you're not good enough, maybe you're not ready yet. And it's being able to understand that this higher self that Roy speaks of is this version of you that kind of has this higher perspective of your path, and that's going to lead you to become the best version of you. Would you say
they've got your blueprint for life. Yeah. So that and you need that. You don't just come down here blind. Depends on your belief, but you still, at that higher energetic level, you've got someone guiding you all the time. And I just choose to work closely with that energy, because it helps. Yeah. And it helps powerfully. Yes. Because then it ends up with me situations like this. Yeah. Because I'm wanting to get out there more, I'm wanting to do a lot more interviews. I've got so much information that I know the world needs, and it's time to share it, and the universe is now backing me up.
Yeah, definitely. And that's what I said to you before about how you did this podcast with Trav, and now 24 hours later you're doing this podcast with myself.
And I've got another live on Facebook next week with another lady in Melbourne.
Beautiful.
And that's going to be more about the healing modalities, the energy healing side of things.
Yeah.
So, and that's it. Like, all the modalities are a big modality in their own right that have got so much written about them.
Yeah.
And because I've got so much faith in myself to tune into energies, I can just dial my ability to tune into whatever. So in somewhere in the universe there is a modality where you read mint leaves, and I just tuned my dial to that and then downloaded the information and was able to trust in myself to do it.
Yeah, wow. And do you think that the trust in yourself has a massive part to play in being able to do these readings for people?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah, because, I put myself on the spot and I could have either gone, oh no, I'm just kidding, and backed away from myself, but I trusted myself completely and gave that lady a really powerful reading.
Yeah.
And now she's got information that she didn't have before that night that's going to help her in future relationships.
Yeah.
How invaluable is that if you get a heads up about how your relationships are going to go? That going into a relationship, you already know it's not going to last, but it's going to be a beautiful relationship. The future, don't get me wrong, knowing the future can have its challenges. It all depends how the mind works, but she was obviously ready for it, because if she wasn't, I wouldn't have done the reading. Yes, that's what I find when working with clients as well, that when I start channeling information and the things that they need to hear at that certain amount of time, like sometimes what I say, like they are ready for, and the things that come through I know not to say because they're not ready to hear that yet, and that idea or that manifestation, that's something that they need to come to fruition or realization of that on their own, because it ruins the experience for some people too. So, and the realms that we work in, we're often getting to know things before others, and we have to go through initiation through our life to prove that we can handle that information respectfully. So, as much as these gifts are natural to me, we still have to do the inner work to be able to handle a greater ability and a greater level of them. And then you often find that the really powerful spiritual people have gone through a lot of crap, because we have to learn life from a human perspective a bit more, because we're so at one with our intuition. Breezing through life would not be beneficial for us.
So I'm curious to know, like, for yourself, have you always had this ability, or...
Yeah, I'm one of the blessed ones. I was born this way, and I never switched it off.
Wow.
So it just hummed in the background growing up, because I needed to do the human experience, and I needed to learn how the human mind works. Because doing the NLP, I'm bridging the gap, because I want to help people balance the human mind and the spiritual mind so they can work in tandem. Because most people, they tend to be at odds with each other. They'll either not believe they've got intuitive abilities, or for whatever reason they deny that they even exist. And some people are really powerfully minded, which too much of one thing can unbalance you and then be detrimental. Then you end up being an overthinker and detrimental to yourself, because you can't make, it's challenging to make a simple decision. Whereas, because intuition just knows things, and the logical mind works it out based on our experiences, what we've learnt in the past, things we've read in books, and all that information, which more often than not takes you further away from the actual truth.
Yeah.
Whereas intuition can just help you know what it is that you need to know.
And how did that affect, like, obviously having such an open channel to your intuition and trusting, like, of your gifts, did that, I guess, through childhood, through life growing up, was that a challenge for you, being, like, different?
Yeah, I never fitted in.
Yeah.
Ever. Not even in, and I had a massive family and I didn't even fit in with my family. So it was a very solo journey at times. I had periods where I fit in for a short period of time, but it was probably 2 or 3 months, and then because I became comfortable with that group of people, I opened up a little bit more, which then I was a bit more of my natural self, which then scared people, because they're unconscious. They obviously felt at the unconscious level that I knew them really well, because the way my gift works, I get to know people I get to know them better than they know themselves within about 5 minutes. And it can scare, obviously that can scare people.
Yeah. Well, yeah, especially if they don't really know themselves, like that, having that awareness of, like, who they are.
Because people are quite private, more, people are private, they don't want their secrets, but energy, you can't hide energy. Energy never lies.
Yes, yeah. And I even was speaking about this with Trav yesterday when we were out for lunch, how I've noticed that when I speak to people now, the colour of their eyes, and becoming aware of like people who in that vibration of like that's up high and have a lot of energy, and they are aware, their eyes are like crystal, like their eyes are bright, versus someone that is like maybe suffering with mental health or in that unconscious like loop of these patterns that aren't serving them, that's like this fogginess, like you can't see their eyes. That's something that I've really noticed, especially as like my abilities and my gifts have heightened dramatically in the past few years, ever since I moved to Queensland. And meeting Trav really as well, that was a huge experience for me. And I did speak about that on the podcast we did together, how I had a full download of his past life in an Aztec situation. He was an Aztec warrior, and that whole moment for us, that was like the beginning of our friendship, and also the beginning of me realizing like, whoa, I just did that for someone, then what else am I capable of doing? Yeah,
getting, the information we can just know about people in a few minutes, which they can't deny because the way their body reacts makes it virtually impossible for them to deny that there's not truth around that. And I love to see that in people. When I just, if you thought about it on a human level, you might be saying things some people would consider completely crazy, but you're watching their reaction and watching their body react in truth and accepting that, and then they just want more. Oh, tell me more. Well, okay, right.
Yeah.
Now we're off. This. An hour later, and then they're just sat there just shaking their head not in disbelief, but in wonderment.
Yeah.
And they're going, that makes so much sense. Oh, that totally resonates. Oh, yeah, I really knew that, actually. I'm glad you confirmed that. And that's if you're just talking about the past lives, that deep down, in their deep down self, they do know these things.
Yes.
Answers are all within.
Of course. I really believe, even for myself, as I have noticed this within other people, that whatever I was drawn to as a kid has kind of given me little clues along the way. Like people's tattoos. Like Trav was saying that one of the guys in the room had like a Roman tattoo, and he had like a Roman past life kind of thing. And yeah, Trav collects like Aztec, Native American things, and obviously he's had a past life there. So yeah, I'm really interested to like go in deeper today with like what you have coming through for myself, and go in with that.
Yeah, we can, because I started getting a download from you before we even started the podcast. You let me in, so I'm like, right, I'm getting information, and the first thing I noticed about yourself was you're a little bit ungrounded, which you basically went, yep, that's me.
Definitely.
And that's just simple technique, so that's quite common when our gifts are really starting to open up, because for people out there listening that are gifted, that don't understand a few things, the universe works quite paradoxically. So to be the freest you can with your gift, you have to have a really strong framework in place. So you have to have like a control system that doesn't control. That's why I'm able to do what I can do, because I've got a control system in place that doesn't control. So it keeps me grounded. So I'm always open.
Yes.
So the analogy I used on Travis' podcast is I'm like when they ask the Hulk saying, well, how do you come angry? And he says, well, it's because I'm always angry. So there's a good visual for you. So when they asked him in the Avengers movie, he says, no, I'm always angry. So he was able to find that place of being always angry, but it not looking like he's always angry. And then when he needed to step his gift up, he could just do it like that. Similar principle with me. I'm always on. I'm always connected.
Yeah.
But I've done it in such a way that it comes to the surface when it needs to. It comes out when it needs to. So when people ask me questions or it's the relevant time, it's very easy to get a full download of that person without having to do any kind of ritual for half an hour or always carry a certain crystal around with me or mantras or anything like that. It's just like breathing to me.
Yes. And do you believe that everyone can kind of access to that point, or like is for some other people that's their path, that they actually need to come to that vibration by doing the meditation, doing something that they love so they can get to that level and then receive those downloads and answers and ideas?
Yeah, I believe everyone has got that ability, but then the only limit would be what they've chosen for their life path. So some people might only need like a level 1 intuition because that's all they need it for their life path, and there's nothing wrong with that. And so they'll never search out bigger things than that because they might be a great artist, for instance, and they only tune into when they need to get an image of a painting.
Yeah.
And that's all they'll ever need, and then their life will be absolutely wonderful.
Yeah.
You know, you think of Picasso, brilliant artist, he may have only ever needed to tune in to see the images of the paintings.
Yeah.
And so he didn't need it to guide others. And so the reasons mine's so expansive is because I'm normally helping people level up into their next level of gifts. And because there's so much variety of gifts in the world, that's why I have that ability to tune into anything and everything. Because whoever I'm leveling up, I've got to understand their gift. Yeah. Even if I've never done it.
Yeah, right. Because, even for me, like when you say ungrounded as well, because a lot of people will listen to this and like be feeling like, oh yeah, I need to get grounded, or what even is feeling grounded?
Yeah, so it's being connected to Mother Earth. That's the grounding.
Yeah.
So one of the most easiest techniques is get your bare feet on the grass.
Yeah.
And do that for about half an hour. Yeah. That's a very simple technique for grounding. You can use crystals, so smoky quartz is a great grounding crystal. Also hematite is another great grounding crystal.
And so for those of you listening that have no idea what the difference is between feeling grounded and ungrounded, so I know exactly what Roy is saying to me when I am ungrounded, because as my gifts start to open and I start receiving more and more information, sometimes I feel like I am literally in space, because I have so many ideas and messages coming through that I actually don't know where to put them all. So sometimes it can get really overwhelming, and sometimes it can get really confusing and chaotic, because all of these ideas of like what's going to happen, what has happened, what is happening is all coming through at once. And because I've never really had this since I was young, or maybe I have but haven't been consciously aware of it, as I'm starting to integrate this into my life right now, it feels chaotic. Like it feels like, oh my gosh, all of these messages are coming through and I don't know where they're going to go.
Yeah, and that's just part of the growth. Yeah. And the best way to do that is learn how to anchor in every day. Because what you're literally bringing information that's coded with light into a physical universe. Yeah. Into a physical body. We were brought up to think that a physical body can't integrate coding of light. But our deep intuition knows that we can. Yeah. So we've built with that natural resistance to it, even though, the unnatural resistance to it. Yeah. So all I've done over the years is got all those blocks out of the way. So it doesn't matter how much light comes in. The only time I've found myself these days when I get I don't get overwhelmed, it's just that when I start getting quantum physics information drop down and my physical brain can't understand it. So I'm just like, okay, that's too much information now. My physical brain cannot handle it. Yeah. So that's literally how I describe it. So I'm not overwhelmed. It's just like, okay, this is hurting my physical brain because it's information it just doesn't know what, does not understand, does not make sense of.
Yeah, and honestly, I think the past few months, like that's really how I felt. Like I've been receiving lots of information and just kind of like not sure how to deal with it. I'm like, oh, okay, like that's really great. And not being able to birth these ideas, they're not feeling ready yet. It's like they're there, and the process has been really beautiful to just let them stay in that vortex and be in my reality, like my other realities. And it's kind of just like, okay, how can I navigate this new situation?
And sometimes information that comes in doesn't get used for years. Like I can remember one piece of information that would have come in a long time ago, and then I got the answers for it 11 years later. And then when I got it, I was like, I got that information 11 years ago. Seriously? Come on, guys. 11-year gap. Jeez. Wow. But it obviously needed that gestation period for whatever reason. Yeah. And a good piece of advice to any gifted people out there is to learn how to let things go, because the answer will come when it's meant to. And if you force it, you're using your physical brain to try and understand something that the physical brain is completely and utterly incapable of understanding. The act of surrender is one of the most powerful things you can learn. So where I got to at one point, when information will come in, if I couldn't make sense of it straight away, I'd be like, okay, it'll make sense when it's meant to. Yeah. And I'll just let it go. Yeah. And so even if it comes 6 months later when it comes in, I go, that's the answer to that. Cool, got it now. All right.
Yes, that's really interesting you say that, because that's something that I have recently integrated in regards to receiving an idea and realising it doesn't have to be actioned right now, that the answers or the unfolding of the rest of the story will come when it is meant to. Yeah. And I think that was a moment for me where I was getting so overwhelmed with all these ideas. However, these things were not fully formed, and also they probably won't be for a while because it's all going to be in divine time. Like,
yeah, well, the analogy I'm being shown in my mind's eye, they're showing me 10 different flowers. You grow 10 different flowers, they'll all bloom at a different time. It doesn't matter how much fertiliser you give them, it doesn't matter how much you water them, they're still going to bloom in their time, not in yours.
Yeah.
Divine timing, not your timing. As Spirit have told me many a time when I'm trying to force things. It's divine timing, not your timing.
Yes. And so you mentioned guides and things like this. I have had a psychic, Simone, in one of my first podcasts, she come on and she mentioned about guides and all this kind of stuff. But I'd love to hear from your perspective and your experience, like how many guides you have and how you communicate with them, etc. And also maybe some key pointers that the listeners can utilise to help them connect in with their guides, their intuition, etc.
Yeah, Trav asked me this yesterday. How many guides you got? I went, at least 4 at any one time. If I call them all in, I want a meeting. I can probably call in, I think, 14. I think I got 2. That are my... And that's not even including Archangel Michael, because he's around a lot, but I don't consider him a personal guide because he serves everybody.
Yeah. Whereas
my actual personal ones that just are there for me, I can probably, there's all the nature realms that I call in. So if I have so I go into what's like an energetic space that has grown over the years. So it started off with just an opening in the forest with a tree in the middle.
Me too.
And I'd just sit against this big oak tree. And then there was a cave appeared for the dragons, and now I've actually literally got a meeting room with a giant table. So we're gonna have to like have a big meeting because there's some big stuff going on that I need to have a collaboration with that right meeting in the meeting room. So I'll just go up into that space, and for me, I don't even need to meditate to do that. I can do it while I'm driving. Because as long as I can picture it, I'm there. Yeah, because we are energetic beings that can be in 2 places at one time energetically, so I don't need to sit and meditate to even do the most powerful things. I've actually done some of the most powerful things I've done while I'm driving because my physical body knows how to drive. So it's like, right, you do that while my mind and energetic mind is off doing other things, and then the next thing I realise I'm on my driveway and I'm like, how did I get here? Because my body knows how to drive. Yes, definitely. The physical body, the automated physical body knows how to do so much. And again, that's another reason when you surrender that, you're able to split yourself. So that's a level of control without control. So guides, I just commune with them because I feel everything energetically. So when they talk, I don't technically hear voices in my head. I hear a sense of a voice. For those that do feel their environment, they'll understand that. The ones that don't will probably be going, what? How can you get the feel of voice? And it's hard to explain unless you operate that way. It's just a sense. It's almost like... Look, sometimes it does translate and then I see words in my mind's eye and I get shown words in my mind's eye. I always receive it in the best way it's meant to be received. So, because I've said to them in the past saying, can you make it louder? And they'll go, you heard us, didn't you? Yeah, then why do we need to make it louder? They hold me accountable and, because that's just my human self sort of trying to go, but I want to know that it's real. And they're going, it is real, it's real, shut up. Yeah. In a loving way. They're very loving. Yeah, of course. But with humour as well.
Yeah, mine have a bit of sass too.
Yeah. And for those that have got spirit guides, if they're not humorous with you yet, you need to get that in.
Yeah.
Understand that they're very humorous. So, I just talk to them every day, and sometimes if I haven't, I know all their names, so I might see their names. So one of my guides called Vulcan, and I know when he's around because I see fire engines. Yeah. So I know when he's around. So I say, hey mate, and I just acknowledge he might just be popping in to say hello. And if he's got a powerful message, I'll see it again. I go, okay, you've got something for me. What's going on? He's one of my protector guides. So if I see him a few times, I know there's some big stuff that they're just letting me know that we're protecting you right now. Yeah. I don't need to know why. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I don't.
Yeah, definitely. And so you mentioned like dragons, and you also mentioned the cave and the meeting room. I made a face when you said the meeting room because I have that too. So I'm really curious. I'm asking from myself to you. I know that I have like angels around me, like guardian angels and guides. Really strong presence, like. It's like a big meeting room. I don't know how many, but it's at least 10. Yep. And I definitely have a dragon of some sort. Like sometimes through meditation, this dragon will come through and be around.
So you connect with the South American dragon Quetzalcoatl.
What? Say that again.
So your dragon that you're connecting to is called Quetzalcoatl. People know that as the god of the South Americas.
Yeah.
That's actually a dragon.
Cool.
It's a feathered dragon and his name's Quetzalcoatl.
What colour?
I see them as multicoloured. It's like yellow and it's almost like a bird with multicoloured feathers.
Yeah, all right.
But yeah, people don't often associate Quetzalcoatl as a dragon.
Right, I'm going to have to look that up because I have no idea.
yeah, for any South Americans out there, they'll probably know what I'm talking about, and they may or may not realise it's actually a dragon.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, like I have all of that come through in meditation. So, yeah, like I guess for those listening and want to learn more about this, the dragons, that the difference between that and then having spirit guides and then having angels, guardian angels, like...
Yeah, so on a very, very basic level, the four you tend to have around with you. For anybody out there that haven't connected with any air guides yet, you'll have your higher self as a guide. Mm-hmm. You'll have your life path guide as a guide. So they're some ones that you spent a previous life with, so they understand this realm, and they're also they work in tandem with your higher self, and they'll help you clear past life stuff because you spent a past life with them. And yeah, they're there to help you. You've got your guardian angel. They're always with you. You'll have one specific for you. So if you say, I'm a guardian's angel, Archangel Michael, that's not the case. You'll have one that's lower ranked than Archangel Michael. Archangel Michael does come around. He's omnipotent. He can pop into anybody at any time if they call on him. But you'll have your specific one. So my guardian angel at the moment is called Habu Haya. Mm-hmm. And he's actually one of the 72 angels from the Jewish religious texts. So yeah, you can actually find out what he's about. He actually came to me. I kept seeing 22s all over the place for about 3 months, and it was driving me crazy because I know what the numbers are when it comes to triple numbers, and I was going, I know what that's about, blah blah blah, and I just kept seeing them everywhere. Oh, what is this about? And then for some reason it took me 3 months to internet search 2222, which then, following my intuition, I got to the right link, and it talked about the mirror realm and Habu Haya. And I was like, and then all of a sudden I just got this body reaction of realisation that that's correct. I was like, and then I stopped seeing the 22s because I've got the right answer. So for those out there, if you're ever seeing messages over and over again and you think you got the answer and you're still seeing the messages, it means you haven't got the message. So yeah, you have your guardian angel, you have your gatekeepers. Not everyone has gatekeepers. It depends on what your mission is. If you're a medium, you will have gatekeepers, so that there's always two. They're basically, like, the way I describe them is they're like your spiritual doorman. They allow people into your energy or not. So you can keep people out, and they're really good for that. So if you're on a night's peace, because you get visited all the time, you just speak to your gatekeepers and say, all right, I want a night's peace, no name on the list, doors shut. So those are the four minimum around you. Then if you work with the nature realms, you'll have a nature realm guide. So I've got a tree as what nature, the tree people and the rock people have got those two as the guides. You'll have a fairy guide as well, and there's different realms of the fairyland. So you've got the gnomes, you've got the fairies, you've got the naiads.
Biggest smile right now. My inner child's
the unicorns. I've got a unicorn guide called Jasper. He's one of my more recent ones that I connected with. So
that's like such a normal name.
Yeah, they quite often are. Yeah. Sometimes not. That's just with me though. For some reason, they like normal names with me.
Yeah.
So one of my guides who's my starseed guide, who's Pleiadian. He called himself Paul.
Yeah.
Paul the Pleiadian. I'm like, could you think of something more original? They went, no.
Yeah, speak like on that. The starseed.
Starseed, yeah.
I know for a fact there'll be people listening being like, I've heard that name being thrown around a lot, and I speak on it briefly in conversation with a few people and with my family, and they're like, what's a starseed? What's the star system? And I don't really know enough about it to explain it in detail, so I'd love to hear your perspective.
Yep, okay, so starseed is that, so it means you've had other lives off planet. So, the Pleiadian system, we're not the only planet with life on it. We're certainly, if you think you are, I feel that's being a bit naive. We're in this vast universe with billions of planets, and there's too many people that have seen UFOs to deny it, really. So starseed basically means you've had lives on different planets, and then you can connect to those. A lot of people who are starseed do have more enhanced abilities as well, because depending on which star system you are from, they tend to have a lot less dense bodies than Earth, which means the bodies can handle more light, which means there's less judgment around abilities, and the abilities are more natural. So a lot of star systems are automatically telepathic, so there's no voice. And it helps with your lineage as well. You act certain ways depending on whether you spent lives in the Pleiades or or the Lyrian lineage, which is the lion, the Lion's Gate, which is the 8th of August every year, opens up, that links in with the planet of Lyrians. They look like lions. You got the blue avians, so they're the bird race that worked a lot with the Egyptians back in the day. So there's many different planets that we may have spent time on. That's your starseed stuff.
Is there a difference between like those that have spent a few lifetimes in different realms and planets, etc., on Earth, versus like, can you tell the difference between people that have had multiple lives versus that have maybe are new souls?
Yeah.
Is that even a thing?
Look, the easiest way to tell it is like, how many times have you come across a little 5-year-old that you go, oh, he's an old soul, because he's been down here a lot of times.
Yeah,
this is not his first rodeo.
Yeah, that's so.
Or you get this little 6-year-old that gives you all this amazing wisdom. You're like, how can you know all this wisdom? It's like, it's not their first time down here.
Yeah,
they're just remembering stuff they've learnt over 100 or 200 or 300, 400 lifetimes.
Yeah.
I remember once, years and years and years ago, I went for a reading. I was just getting sat down and the lady went, oh, you're a sucker for punishment, aren't you? And I went, yeah, because I knew exactly what she meant. She went, yeah, you've been down here a lot of times. I went, yep, a lot of times.
Yeah.
A lot of times.
I honestly feel that for myself and also my brother as well. Like all through our lives growing up, we've just been called old souls. Like, oh, you're such an old soul.
And the more natural and stronger your gifts, the more likely you've been down here a lot of times.
Yeah, definitely. In my discernment, I totally agree with you there.
And that brings in a whole new aspect of like when you're doing inner work, you have to clear past lives where you got persecuted for your gifts. That's one of the most common parts of the journey for gifted people. To expand their gifts, they've got to go back and go, all right, I was a witch in that life, I got burnt. I was a witch in that life, I got drowned. I was a wizard in that life, I got ostracised. And what, hung, drawn and quartered and all these things, because we knew things back then and periods in history feared those abilities.
Definitely.
I mean, there's still fear today, but there's less abilities to persecute people.
There's more freedom of speech, I believe, especially in Australia.
Yeah, well, like 15 years ago, there was barely a shop on the high street that had readers. Now, any main high street, there'll be a crystal shop that'll have a healer in it or a reader in it, or there'll be a Reiki, there'll be a Reiki practitioner's shop. So commonplace. I mean, they have Reiki practitioners in hospitals these days. I've done for quite a few years now. It's just becoming normal. And plus, like with the way TV, as much as it can have negative manipulation, it can also have positive manipulation. You tell a 6-year-old that unicorns don't exist, and they go, well, I was watching a TV show yesterday that had unicorns. They do exist. Yeah. That you can't, not like, because I'm 50 now, when I was growing up, the parents could tell you such and such doesn't exist because you wouldn't seen it on telly every day. Whereas, like, I couldn't tell my son that because you've seen them on telly, whatever it was, fairies and, got all the toys and everything. It's just normal. And I feel for me, that's been a very positive thing because kids are now, the generation now, just open to it.
Yes, definitely.
Whether they choose to then go to the level of knowing it's real just in a different energetic space, that's their journey. Yeah, for sure. I'm watching Star Wars currently because I'm like going through all like the OG things that people say you need to watch, so like Game of Thrones, Matrix, Star Wars. So I'm onto Star Wars, and literally the first show speaks about how your path is there for you. However, it's your choice to choose that or not. And I really believe that their life path is there, and we all still have that free will to choose to follow that if we wish. Yeah, so interesting enough that I've already mentioned about the best way to become the most powerful version of yourself is to have an element of control, your framework of control, so you can be out of control without being out of control. You think about Star Wars, you've got the Jedi that have got that mindfulness, that control level, and they're the most powerful. And then you've got the renegades, which is Han Solo, but still does the right thing. Yeah. There's your control without control. There's your paradox, your two opposites that work in tandem together. Because for those that don't know, Han Solo was basically based on cowboys, your gunslingers, and the Jedi were based on the samurai. Yeah. Makes sense. I'm still in the early days of it all, so I'm like, I don't know what all these things are yet, but yeah, I'm really excited to like keep going and using like some of the little hidden messages along the way. I'm like, oh, this is actually really good. Yeah, there's a reason that's so powerful, and it was also telling the masses that, because who's to say that George Lucas didn't get that story because he was around people in Area 51 telling him what happened to them when they was growing up, and he just made it a film. Everything's possible. Everything and anything is possible. I truly, truly believe that. So I'm curious
to know a little bit about, I guess, I'd love to hear like what messages you're getting through for myself, and also like you've brought some cards with you today too.
Yep.
And I'm really excited because I know the first cards that you brought. So I'm like, yes, I'd love to go into that if you're ready.
Yeah, so I won't get the cards yet, but I'll do. So for those that are listening, my eyes get drawn to whatever Elise is wearing, or the way she's sat, it gets drawn around the room, and that gives me all the information I need. It's very abstract, but I'm able to interpret, which is great. So interesting enough, I'm seeing this little circular thing on your necklace that's on your neckline. But from this distance, I can't read what it's saying on it, but from the way I see it, it looks like it says the words 007. I know it doesn't, but that's how I see it. So that's to do with James Bond. So that's the ability to see into people, to get information, the ability to spy and be hidden. So you've got this, a bit like how I work, you can see into people, and it doesn't matter how much they try and block it, you can still see through it.
Yeah.
And they're also, okay, are you happy for me to share this?
Yeah, go for it.
So they're also saying that you're also a great lover.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm Virgo, so that's
yeah. So good in the bedroom.
Yeah.
So there's that, and so it means you're very passionate.
Yeah.
And when you invest in that, You're all in. There's no, let's just play around a bit tonight. No, it's all in. It's either all or nothing. We're either going to do it all or we're not going to do it at all.
Yeah.
Would that be right?
100%.
Excellent, yeah. And so the biggest thing I've been drawn to right from the beginning is the big sun.
I'm wearing like a necklace, yeah.
Yeah, a necklace with a big sun on it. But the fact that it's blue, so that would link to your star seed life. So all planets and suns. So you do get blue giants. So it's worth doing a bit of research on the blue giants, and your intuition will tell you which was the nearest star to your planet, and whichever star system that's your star seed for this life. So it could be that the Pleiades have different suns, that one of them was blue.
Okay.
So that's just a reference to your star seed. The blue stuff is really resonating as well.
Yeah, it's my favourite colour.
Yeah. And that could also be that your star seed that's the way it's talking to you. So you need to wear blue until you get the message, then you'll start wearing different colours.
Yeah.
I also know you hide your heart.
Yeah.
Because you're wearing your crossed bra that's crossed right across your heart.
Yeah.
You talk yourself out of love sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
So you defend yourself with your words. You defend your heart with your words. So you're good at denial.
I love it. Yes.
So so you can see with Elise's reactions. Okay, so who's Emily?
Emily.
Because I kept wanting to call you Emily. Okay, I've got it. So Emily's your life path guide.
Oh, well, that would make sense. Yeah. Okay.
So your life path guide, for those that know their life path guides but don't know their life path guides, they always have a normal name.
Yeah.
Because they've lived on Earth, so they come back with a normal name. So my life path guide's called Margaret. Mm-hmm. My son's is called James. Yeah. So that's how you tend to know if it's your life path guide, because it tends to be a normal name, a normal earthbound name.
Yeah.
That's a good pointer out there.
A guide named Elizabeth as well.
Okay. Yeah, double check that, because that might have been just someone hanging around from your family in the past.
Maybe.
So it's interesting that I just wanted to keep calling Elise Emily, and I'm like, who the frick's Emily? And it's your guide. So your guide was talking to me.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. I didn't hear any voices. I just had that big sense to call you Emily.
Yeah.
So you store information energetically.
Yeah.
And you hold it in your stomach.
Yeah.
So do you mind if I get tiny little bit personal?
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
So basically, if you wanted to slim down a little bit, you'd have to learn how to store energies in different places. Maybe in your heart, because your heart is expansive without your body actually following that.
Yeah.
And that's where you really should hold information, is in your heart.
Yeah.
So it's just a technique that everybody that's a compassionate empath, if you're an empath, it means you're embody empathetic.
Yeah.
So you need to change and use the word compassionate.
Yeah.
Because you're completely passionate. Mm-hmm. And then you hold the information in your heart, because there's people that still call themselves empaths that haven't morphed into compassionates yet. They will hold it in their stomach. And that's why a lot of empaths have stomach issues. Yeah. Because they're holding energy there that needs to be shifted up.
Yeah. How do you, I find that I'm quite compassionate, but how would I move that energy that I hold in my stomach to my heart?
Yeah, so it's just basically visualising every day.
Yeah.
It's just a visualisation practice to imagine the energy that you're holding here moving up through your solar plexus and up into your heart, and then what's not yours letting go out of your heart. Yeah. Which then transmutates it to neutral. Yeah. Yeah, because the more clients you work with, the more information you hold, in theory, will put on a bit more weight.
Yeah.
So you know the people, you can tell, you go through the spiritual, especially when there's like the Mind Body Spirit Festival, you go to where all the readers are, you look at all the real big people, they're the ones that hold the information. So, and I'm one of those, and I don't hold the information, that's why I'm, let's see if there's any. So you're very good with your words, so you can blend your words very well, especially when you're delivering messages. You can seamlessly jump from information to information without it seeming like there's a gap there, and you make it seem easier how it's all connected. So the way they show me that is if you look at all your genes has got like 3 different colours, but they're all quite close to each other. And blue is communication. Yeah. So your throat chakra's quite well blended. Yeah. Yeah. So when was the last time you had a sore throat? I'm guessing almost never.
Like I barely do, and if I do, it's like for a day or so.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Yeah, and that's just when you're shifting new information. Yeah. Yeah. So you're naturally gifted with your throat chakra.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. It's interesting because...
Which is why you wear blue, because you know that's your power. Yeah. So for you to develop your other gifts, wear different colours. Yes. Because that's going to put you in your uncomfort zone. Yeah. And that's where you grow.
Yeah, which is interesting. I have been wearing like different colours as well lately, but I love blue. It's my favourite.
Yeah, because it's your power.
Yeah.
So I've always got different colours on. Yeah. Because I've embraced all of my modalities and I'm able to do brand new ones like that without, it just seems like I've been doing it my whole life. Yeah. Just like the mint leaf reading that I'd never done in my whole life, didn't even know it was a thing until I did it. So now, okay, they want me to get this deck.
Oh, that's my favourite.
Which is your favourite deck?
It is.
Has anyone ever read your favourite deck to you?
No.
Awesome.
Do you do it for me?
Yeah, I'll give you a card. So just give them a shuffle.
Oh, okay. This is like the new deck. My girlfriend Hillary got it for me for my birthday, and I'm obsessed with just the pictures on it.
Yeah, beautiful.
Like the colours, and I love the art.
So just bring yourself to mind and then give them a shuffle.
Bring myself to mind?
Yeah, so just think of yourself.
Okay. And shuffle again? Yeah.
She's good at shuffling.
Yeah.
It's always a sign of a good card reader.
Yeah,
someone that can shuffle.
Super connected to this deck. I find like decks that I'm not really connected to, I can't shuffle really well. There you go.
Just choose one.
Choose one.
So I feel I need to read this reversed. So okay. So something happened when you were 14.
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a powerful hit on the head. That was the start of a shadow journey.
Whoa.
To teach you deep things about yourself.
Whoa.
So you need to revisit that and look at it from a student's perspective.
Yeah, definitely.
Rather than a victim perspective.
Yeah.
And it's going to teach you some very powerful things. Okay. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah. Well, so for context, like that's when I got into like my first ever long-term relationship. Oh.
How you do everything is how you do anything is how you do everything. Yeah. Have your relationships mirrored that since?
I haven't been in a relationship since.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So this is why you need to shift this now. Yeah. Otherwise the pattern will repeat until you learn. Yeah. So it's best to go back now and learn it so you don't end up learning it from another person.
This is really good for like everyone listening, I guess, as well. Within their relationships, it's to go back to the first one and notice any like patterns that have maybe repeated themselves in the future as well. Yeah, that's a side.
It was 14 the time when you became a woman?
Like...
I'm feeling 12 actually.
Yeah, 12.
12, yeah.
12, okay. As in like getting my cycle and stuff? Yeah, 12.
12, yeah. Okay, now I can turn it around. Okay, so you got, that's how your channeling ability looks right now. Mm-hmm. See how it's quite small still? Yeah. But it will get bigger. It's growing.
Yeah, I feel that.
So to give you reference, mine's probably putting all the cards together. That's the width of my
that's
channel.
hectic.
Yeah. I've had a lot more practice than you.
Well, yeah.
Over many, many more lives. So the next thing worth activating within yourself is your solar plexus chakra. Mm. So it's starting to wear yellows now. Yeah. So go into wearing yellows because that's your power centre. Yeah. And that will grow your channel ability because it's your power. Yeah. Like your intuitive gifts are your power. And that shadow journey at 14 will show you where some of that sits as well. Mm-hmm. Beautiful radiance. See, it doesn't matter what you're working with, your biggest power is always running through it. There's the blue you see. Blue. But that's a much deeper blue, which, So you'll find that you'll recognise when your power's grown because your love of blue will change shades. Mm. The deeper the blue, the stronger the power. Yeah,
I've noticed that I'm really attracted to like a cobalt blue lately, like that deep, like a dark navy, but like that bright blue.
Yeah, so I feel that's more a past life stuff around Greece, because the oceans around there are cobalt blue.
I love Greece, and I've never been, but I'm like obsessed with Greek mythology, and I swear I have had lives there.
Yeah. So you know, there's another confirmation. So Elise's body showed that nail on the head hit, and we've not spoken. We spoke very briefly on the phone yesterday. You know, no one's told me anything about this, and you know, I've not stalked her on the internet or anything like that.
Yeah.
And that's it. And we just hold all that energy in our bodies, and you are going through a bit of a death right now. So there's endings.
Yeah.
You seeing the number 9 a lot?
Yeah, everywhere. Yeah. I see all the numbers everywhere.
Yeah, but 9 more so.
Yeah, and 7.
7's life path.
Yeah.
So a part of your life path's coming to you're transitioning into another level of life path. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel that.
And you've got Romany Gypsy in your bloodline as well.
Yeah. So that's why I was talking about like the cartoons that you're obsessed with when you're younger. Mine was like Esmeralda.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So it's like the gypsy.
Yeah.
Yes, and like Hercules and all that kind of stuff. So there you go, that makes sense.
Yeah, well, Esmeralda to me would mean the Hunchback of Notre Dame, so that's French lineage. The French Romany Gypsies. Notre Dame.
Yeah, that's cool.
There you go.
That's very cool.
Yeah. So for the gifted ones out there, just have faith in yourself and try things. Because that's how you expand your gifts. Don't hold yourself back.
So powerful. Thank you.
And find people, like when you're trying out new things, find people you've never read for before, maybe a brand new friend that you don't really know.
Yeah.
Because they're the perfect ones, because you don't know a lot about them. You're not comfortable with them, so it pushes you at that comfort, that uncomfort zone. Yeah. And that's how you grow.
Definitely. I think as well, like, even just getting yourself a deck of oracle cards as well, and without reading them, without looking at the meaning, that's really good practice I found for myself, to practice that intuition and trusting what was coming through, and then going to the guidebook to realise like what came through was actually exactly what the card means.
One of the best pieces of information I ever gave was throw the book away and trust yourself.
Yeah.
And something I've learned over the years is when you buy a brand new deck or someone gifts you a new deck, take your time and touch each card, because you're putting your energy into them. You're basically connecting with the deck and letting them know your energy, and the deck's letting you know its energy. And then you blend, and then you'll get a lot more accurate readings by doing that.
So powerful.
And practice.
Yes.
You know, even in the intuitive world, practice helps, because it just helps you trust more. It helps you feel more confident, and then you resist that ability less. And I've started reading for other people when I was 18, so that's 32 years, which enables me to on the fly read mint leaves.
Yeah.
And read
so
anything.
Wild.
Yeah, and read anything.
Yeah. Like what? So that's probably the most bizarre thing that you've read.
Well, I was explaining to a lady one night that I said, if you wanted to, you could walk over that chain wire fence, hold your hands on it for 3 minutes, and I'll be able to read the chain wire fence. Whoa. Because you're just putting your energy into it. Yeah. And I'll see whatever I need to see.
Yeah. Do you necessarily need them to do that, or you could just kind of look at them and be like, yeah?
They'd have to put their energy on it. Otherwise, I'll be reading whoever's the last person to touch that fence was.
Yeah. Can that get overwhelming for you? Like when going, like let's say, to a shopping mall and there's like all these people? Or...
No, I'm the power. In the beginning, before I understood how my power worked in regards to my energy healing, I was your classic go to shopping centres, get overwhelmed. Yeah. Whereas now, if I go to a shopping centre and I want to make everybody happy, and I'm allowed to, because my guides, you've always got to do things respectful, and there might be someone there that might trigger them to be happy that day. But if it was just if spirit were testing me and permission from everyone in the shopping centre, and it happened in such that flow way. And they said, right, we just need you to practice and influence everybody in the shopping centre. I could do. And the way I do it, I visualise an emanation. I've got 2 auric fields, one for me and one to emanate out. Mm-hmm. And anybody inside that kind of energetic auric field would feel my energy of happiness, and they'd feel happy. Yeah. That's pretty cool when that happens.
That is really cool. And I've noticed that even for myself, like even just walking into a room, being able to know where kind of everyone is at and see where everyone is at, and then be the light. Yeah. And also, like, when I'm that, my outer world will then mirror as well.
Yeah. We're here to raise the vibration of the planet. We're here to make the planet happier and more vibrant. And if you're not shining your light and doing that, you're not serving your purpose.
Yeah, and I guess the only way you can do that is to do the inner work on yourself, to trust yourself, and to choose the things that make you feel good and make you happy as well.
Yeah, and your guides are there to guide you on the next step. You're never alone. Like, I'm never alone. Even if I said, right, I need some alone time, there'd still be one hanging around somewhere in the background, you know, just sort of peeking around the door to make sure I was all right.
Yeah, definitely. It was interesting before, like how we were speaking about I can see people, and like New Year's Eve last year, I was sitting with a Tibetan monk in like this retreat space, and they were we're in a group of people, and he was talking amongst others, just sitting there, and he fully interrupts the conversation of what they were talking about and looks me dead in the eye, and he says, "You're a seer." Like, you can see through people's bullshit. He's like, don't ever let anyone tell you that, like, what you see, because you can see exactly what is.
Yeah, that's what I saw in the card, wasn't it? It said, like, you can see through, you got that ability to see through.
And that come through when you were saying that. I was like, oh, like, that's making sense, and that's linking.
More confirmation.
Yeah, exactly. So that's really, really powerful stuff. And so I'm curious, Roy, where can like my listeners find you if they want to learn a bit more about what you do, if they want to get a healing for themselves, etc.?
Yeah, so I'm on all the socials, you know, Instagrammers, Roy B Quantum Healer. I've also got a Facebook page which I think is called the same thing. My Facebook profile is actually public as well, so you can find me on Facebook generally. I've just recently gone onto TikTok.
Cool.
So I've only got 2 videos up, but that's also Roy B Quantum Healer. So I've kept my name really consistent, so I'm easily found. And my website isn't that. It's actually www.iammerlin.org. So that's where you can really like find ways to contact me and get in touch for any kind of session. And yeah, so if you wanted to upgrade your abilities, I can do that. If you're wanting energy healing, if you're wanting my mediumship skills, you want to contact people who have passed on, or your pets, or you know, if there's someone even alive in the world that you'd like to contact, I can also do that. You know, cool. It's a misconception that mediums only talk to those that have passed. Yeah. So I talk to the living, I talk to the past, I talk to the pets, I talk to the guides, I talk to the unborn that are in the womb. That's a new one. So which I found that was a beautiful experience for the mother, because I was able to have a conversation with her son and help her understand him before he's born, so they don't have that discovery period. Yeah. Which is going to help them both, and they'll have a much more calm, beautiful relationship. As well. So I felt that's probably one of the most invaluable things. The one for those that have passed is often around, we've still got things left unsaid with parents that need resolving, so you can you can get those resolved. Yeah, if you just wanted like a general psychic reading, I obviously do that. Whatever it is that you need, I can do. Even if I never heard of it before. I'm sure. Do you want a mint leaf romantic reader? I can do that now. I can do that then.
So if you could tune into, I guess, the collective energy right now, and to finish off, I would love to just hear maybe anything that you can channel in for those that will listen to this podcast specifically. What do they need to hear right now?
Okay, so collective tuning does sometimes take me just about 30 seconds, because it's tuning into one person. I can do like that. When you tune in a collective, you're talking 7.8 billion people. So we're still going through a massive growth period collectively. So it's just about putting one foot in front of the other, keeping yourself present in the moment and doing the very next step. Don't worry about step 2 or step 3. The most powerful teaching I got just before COVID from Spirit was, right, we're going to teach you how to do step 1. And then at step 1, they went, right, now we're going to teach you how to do step 1. I went, where's step 2? The step 1. Worry about step 1. And there was only ever step 1. So that one foot in front of the other, one foot in front of the other, it's going to teach you, if you're not already there, it's going to help you learn how to trust. Your path will go the way it's meant to go, and you'll learn everything in the present moment, because that's the only moment that exists. Be present, keep growing, have faith in yourself.
Yeah, affirming that for everyone listening right now, and thank you so much for your time today.
My pleasure, and anybody out there that wants to invite me onto their podcast, get in touch.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. And I'll have all Roy's details in the show notes as well. And yeah, like I said, thank you so much for listening, everybody. And thank you, Roy, for being here today. It's been
thank you for the invite.
Pleasure. And yeah, we'll have to do this again sometime.
Absolutely.
Thank you for being a part of the Generation Elevation community. If you enjoyed today's episode, make sure to leave a 5-star rating, written review, share, and tag me on Instagram at elise.riley. Until next time, Keep loving, keep learning, and keep rising.